This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and today, on the back of some feedback, if that's a thing, if you can get on the back of feedback. Does feedback have a back? Does it have a front? Feed front? Anyway, on the back of feedback, I'm going to talk about the importance of discussion. So, firstly, I wanted to actually thank Lawrence for reaching out, and we had a chat earlier today over the social media, and towards the end he offered some feedback around the things that he really enjoyed and what he would like to see more within the podcast. And this is beautiful. I really appreciate feedback and information somebody is feeding back to me, because it allows me to get a bit of a gauge of what you guys get most out of it and so forth. Now, in doing that, he shared a couple of things, and I want to sort of expand on that for his benefit, but for everyone's benefit here. But it feeds back into the idea in the conversation today of the importance of discussion. Now, the reasons why I do this podcast, and people that do work with me closely and come to my seminars and have the opportunity to speak to me more often, start to realize I'm not with any of these podcasts telling people what to think. I'm not trying to be cliche and being like, I'm teaching people how to think. It's not that. What I'm offering is opportunities of personal insight. It's like every single thing that I say that lands for you, that makes sense, you already know. And so when it comes to furthering that depth and questioning and understanding, and if something that I say doesn't really make sense, or it kind of goes against something, it's like that's the opportunity for discussion. Now, the Facebook group that I have, the Mood Prep Online group, which is more active this year than it was towards mid to end last year because of a few things happening with the gym. I got quite sort of very busy, and so I put my priorities in order. But the Mood Prep Online group monthly will have an online video. You don't have to do video. You can just do audio. You can just tune in. But it's called Sunday Sessions. It's actually this Sunday coming up. It's 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. I simply put a Zoom link, which is like Skype, into the group, and people jump on a call, and it gives us an opportunity to have a discussion. There's multiple people in there. A lot of the people that come in from the Coaches Circle, which is changing, as I mentioned a few times, changing brand name now to the Roundtable, jump in there, and we have the opportunity to sit back, have a drink. If you're on the other side of the planet, you can have a coffee. If you're on my side, you might enjoy a whiskey or a beer or a wine, whatever it is, but it has the opportunity to have that discussion. Because one of the key things that Lawrence offered me was something like a summary or a take-home. And as beautiful as that is, and it's actually really good feedback, I'm hesitant to do so because I don't want my feedback and my summary to be tainted with my opinion. So what I do know is that with every single person listening to this, they have different personality traits they lean into. They have different meta programs, or otherwise known as thinking patterns. And so if I have a bias that I'm not paying attention to, or offering summaries that that do have a bias or take homes based on what only I can see, I can sometimes start to really filter and influence what other people are getting from the podcast. And that's where the opportunity of actually jumping on the call. I mean, look at the time that we're alive. We can jump on a computer or a phone and speak to people that we listen to. Like, that's the beauty of the current climate of technology. And so that's where I really encourage you guys not to just obviously take my summaries, and I know a lot of the listeners don't. That you don't agree with everything I say, and that's the whole point, once again. But it's having the ability to then bring that forward. And one of the guys actually in the Coaches Circle does this really well. Barry will do this really, really well. Each time we catch up, I've got a couple of questions, and he brings it forward, and we have this discussion. And what it allows us to do is to really pull it apart and start to see different points of view, and then from there, presenting different developmental models allow us to see this on a bigger picture. So as much as something like a summary or something like some take-homes would be of benefit. The other thing is that some people are running this internal authority pattern. Some people are running an external authority pattern, and they may not even realize it. It's just something that's just happened for them for so long in their life that when I go, here's what you should be paying attention to, as I'm offering, because maybe as a bias, as me being blind to it, I'm running an internal authority pattern. Then what ends up happening is that the internal authority in me starts to influence the external authority in you, and none of us are even aware of it. And so my offer for you, and look, to be honest also, some of my podcasts, I'm not sure what the take home is. I don't know. I don't know what the take home should be for you. I have no idea at what stage of your life you're in. I have no idea at what happened for you today and like anything. I know that there's some things that I say that people go, that makes no fucking sense, or I can't believe he said that when I meant something else, and so on and so forth. But the reality is that the take home is an opportunity for you. And if you're not sure about it, please take note and jump in the Facebook group. This is me plugging the Facebook group. It's completely free, and that's your opportunity in there to start engaging and asking questions, and then starting the conversation from there as well. And I'll always contribute to it. More than happy. Any questions that go in there, I'm even happy to do a 2-minute video to explain. The thing about it though is making sure that there is that dialogue, that is that discussion, because what happens now is that I'm not talking about you and you're not talking about me. We're talking about ideas that are coming through us, right? And not just an idea as in, here's a good idea. An idea as in a theory, as in a complex situation, as in a developmental model, like all of these things. And so the encouragement of discussion from a place of seeking to understand the other people involved in that discussion is what's going to be the most beneficial thing for us, like moving forward almost as a race, because we're no longer realizing that, or we are starting to realize rather, that we're not different. We're all wanting the same thing. We're all seeking the same thing. We're just seeing it within different vehicles. And so when we're able to really work on trying each other's shoes on by being open in the dialogue and being open in the discussion, and coming from this angle of like, what am I potentially missing? What is it that I'm missing? Because I see this and I see this, and I think maybe you're missing this, but please, if there's something I'm missing, let me know. Broaden my awareness. And so that's my offer for you in every single one of these, is like, what is it that's coming up for you? Like, what do you get from these podcasts? And not only that, here's something for you, right? With that in mind, when you talk to other people, do you seek to understand them? Because sometimes, here's an example for you. Maybe this is one of your take homes, if we're going to use that as a starting point. Some of us are so caught up in having to be right because maybe we're the oldest child, and we're always told, we had two other siblings, and we're always told, you should know better, you should know better, you should know better. When you do something once, you do it 3 times, because when you do it, then they do it, then they do it, right? And what happens is that maybe this person grew up developing this idea of like, I should know the answers, because if I don't, I get in trouble. And so no matter what happens, this person's a quote unquote know-it-all. Like, there's so many fucking layers to this, and until we have a discussion, until we open up the questions and open up the dialogue and truly seek to understand each other, then the offer is simply for you, as you are, to take what you can and build your own. It goes back into that once again, is that I'm not here to tell people what to think. My passion is to sit here and engage in some sort of conversation, whether it be by myself or in other people, to help other people start to ask better questions, to help them relieve themselves of the unnecessary suffering that they carry with them throughout their whole life and project onto other people and other things. That stuff doesn't belong here anymore. And with good dialogue, with good questioning, we can learn to let go of that, and we can end unnecessary suffering. But on that note, team, I'm out. If you haven't already, jump on Facebook, search Mood Prep Online. I'd love to see you in there to continue the conversation, continue the discussion. Once again, I do have the Mood Prep Intensive coming up in Canberra, 9th and 10th of March. There's a couple of tickets left for that as well. Otherwise, I'm out. I'm done. Thank you very much for tuning in today. If you found this podcast beneficial, you know the deal. It would mean the world to me if you'd pass it on to someone else who you think would also find it beneficial. Otherwise, until tomorrow, peace and pizza, kick today in the dick, slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.